Well, we came together about 5 or 6 years ago, and our main aim was to become the music ministry in the Sacred Heart House of Prayer. We're all part of the Sacred Heart House of Prayer community, and we began by playing at prayer meetings and at days of prayer within the House of Prayer. And music ministry for us means that what we want to do is bring Jesus out to people through our songs, through our singing. We would always try and pray before we would sing at Mass or sing at a prayer meeting. And the whole idea behind it is that we're not promoting ourselves and we're not promoting music. What we want to do is allow people to feel Jesus as we sing and as we play. So our first big event outside of the House of Prayer was a concert for the local parish church, like fundraising concert in the church hall, which turned out to be a really good success. We were so nervous because we hadn't done anything like that as a band before. But it turned out to be really good, and people seemed to be moved and touched. And from there, that's, I suppose, where it all began, the going out and taking the ministry outside of the House of Prayer into the world.
Okay, for me it's a very easy question to answer, how I believe in Jesus. Because I do believe without a shadow of a doubt that Jesus exists. I have felt his presence throughout my life. From a very young age, as 14, I remember in religion class, the teacher teaching us how to get into the present moment with Jesus, and I remember thinking that I never experienced anything like it, and it was absolutely amazing. And I went home and I lit a candle in my bedroom and got into that present moment again. And I suppose maybe when I was younger it was easier in a sense because I didn't have as much blocks, because I think there's too much baggage when you get older, and you do become a lot part of the world. It's very hard then. I remember my first experience when I came to the House of Prayer, feeling that present moment with Jesus again, which I hadn't experienced from I was 14, and also through the prayer meetings on a Wednesday night, through the praying and through the opening of ourselves, that we can experience that present moment with Jesus. So for me, I believe in Jesus because I have felt him.
I believe in Jesus because I know he's there. I have felt him in my life. I felt him in prayer meetings. I have felt his presence with me through times of difficulty, through times of trouble. And it's not like I can see him or that I feel him physical holding my hand or something. It's just like a knowing, like an awareness that he's there. And even when there's been times where I haven't felt him, because he's given me that grace, that gift of faith, I still know that he's with me, no matter what is happening. He said in scripture, where 2 or 3 gathered in his name, that he would be there amongst them. And that can be in your family, when I was saying my prayers with my family when I was a kid, right up to now, when we sing together, we're singing for him, so we're gathered in his name, so he is with us. And he's just there with me all the time.
I think for me it's the same as Bridget. It's not a matter of believing in God. I think when you've felt him near, you just know there's no mistaking his presence. And I think once you have felt him and you know what it means to be close to him, that you don't want to go far away. Although we do naturally, we drift away from him in our own selfishness, but it's that there's no place like believing he's there. There's nothing in the world like it, like knowing that he's near you, that he's got your back, and that he'll never let you go.
For me, it's knowing that Jesus is there is for me trying to live his ways. Not for me myself, but opening up and trying to be open to his teachings, to his will, and the way of following his teachings and putting prayer in, and the fasting we do in the house a couple of days a week, and going to Mass, and all that grace is gained, and then living day-to-day life by trying to do it his way and trying to put his teachings into that day-to-day life, and not living a way of more worldly, where it's more to do with money and accomplishments and just gaining things for yourself, whether it's fame, fortune, popularity and all that. It's more just to me. His ways are there, and if I follow them, my life works properly, runs properly. The times that I'm not living close to him, they become complicated, they become drudgery, and things are just difficult to push through. The more I remain close to him, the easier it is to move on, and because he's given his ways that they work, and I've seen the conviction in how they work in my life, and people say, well, you could do that without believing in Jesus, but without having Jesus in it, it's just there's no meaning behind it, and that's that Jesus provides the meaning of the lot of it.
When I feel your love, it's like heaven. To feel your touch is like moving in.
Well, pretty much like everybody else has said here, I believe in Jesus because I know that he exists. I know that because I have felt him. One of my earliest experiences feeling Jesus was a time of great stress, I would call it, in my life, and I won't go into that, but it's enough to say that I went into the chapel and I asked for help, and it was almost like there was a mantle put around me, and the words like everything is going to be okay, and the feeling of Jesus was overwhelming, and I knew that everything was going to be okay, and it was. And that's sort of the pattern, that's been the pattern of my life then, from that point on. He's always there, he always looks after me. And I couldn't deny that. I couldn't imagine not believing in him. I just know he's there.
I am nothing. You are everything. You are the everything that I don't know that I need. You are the sun that shines on this flower in the ground.
Well, when we're singing at Mass or playing concerts, it's not as such that we're there to perform, especially at Mass when we don't perform at Mass, but it's that trying to bring a bit of prayerfulness through the songs, and in a way preaching through the songs, and not getting Jesus' words of the songs to touch people's hearts. And for us ourselves, we've discovered over the time that we need a bit of preparation beforehand for doing that, and it's such the same practice that we would practice here on the Thursday nights, but it's also the spiritual practice of putting in some time, especially for doing a concert, and a bit of time of maybe sacrifice or fasting, providing the time of sacrificing our time to be available to do the practices and different things. And then before Masses we would pray in preparation and in the choosing the songs to do with the different scripture readings of the day or different feast days that maybe are occurring, that by putting a little bit of our own time and a bit of spiritual backing behind what we go out to do, that then when we're at Mass or if we're doing a concert, that it's not us that is being glorified, but Jesus in what we're trying to put across.
I'm gonna wait on the Lord. I'm gonna wait on the Lord till he comes. I know he's coming soon, maybe morning, night and noon. I'm gonna wait right here till he comes, till he comes. Do 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 do. right here. I'm gonna wait right here. I'm gonna wait right here until he comes.
I think a lot of people don't realise what goes on inside the house of prayer. They just think people come here to pray, really, and it's definitely not the case. We definitely get our hands dirty in the house of prayer. Like Jesus said, go out and be his hands, his feet and his lips, and definitely within the house we do all them aspects. We do reach out to the poor, we feed the hungry, and we do a lot of work, charity work, and also there's water sports within the house of prayer as well. And that's one of the ways that when I first came here, I was involved in the water sports as well, and the pottery. And in a way, it's like to bring the young children here, the young people here, and take them out of the world, because there's so much drink and drugs, and it's a very dangerous world for children to be growing up in. And I suppose in a way it makes it exciting. The water sports entails wakeboarding, jet skiing, there's kite surfing, which my husband does as well, he's very good at it, and the pottery, there's the wood turning room, there's a lot of stuff goes in within this house that people don't actually realise goes on within it. So.
In my heart, I wanna be the worthiness of yours. In my heart, I wanna see sweetest love that's yours.
And that would all be to show the youth that Jesus is here and that he is alive. And another thing that we do here is also involves the youth, and it's to fight against abortion. That's something that we all would feel very strongly about, and it's something that goes on in the world an awful lot. I believe that if Jesus gives a life, that it should be allowed to live. Part of what we do against abortion is the printing press here. We would print images, like they're quite graphic and people don't like them, but they are the truth. That's what abortion is, and people need to see the truth. We would also have 4 walks around Cookstown here every year to coincide with the Day of Prayer of Our Lady. The prayers on the day are offered for the fight against abortion and all people involved in it, from the mothers, fathers, doctors, everybody, and also for the pro-life workers, because they come under an awful lot of abuse, I would say. We also have an abortion table out the front there on a Saturday, and that's just to collect signatures. At the minute we're collecting signatures to close the Mary Stopes clinic.
I very much believe that going out there and being part of the body of Christ and getting your hands dirty, you need to also put yourself outside your comfort zone. That too often we only do things to suit ourselves. And one of the things that we do here is the gathering place on the weekends, and it's generally opens from 12:30 to about 3:30 at night. So it's I mean, most people are looking to get themselves settled off to bed, and or even at the weekend be going out themselves. But it's that giving up those few hours and maybe being a bit sleep deprived, and put you outside the comfort zone. And it's always remembering that what Jesus did for me, that the love he did on the cross out of love for me, that I should be willing to give myself for others, because as Jesus said, love one another as he loved us. So for me and for all of us, we feel we have to give that little bit extra sometimes. and the gathering place we would give out soup and tea and coffee to youngsters come, and maybe not quite so young, coming out of the different pubs or nightclubs in Cookstown. We don't have any homeless in Cookstown, so we can't have the opportunity to help out the homeless. So this is something similar but different. And you have people coming out of the nightclubs a little bit worse for wear, and we're there just as a little, give them a little gift, a little bit of love in a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or a cup of soup. And so often they ask us why, and it's just say just because we're here just to do it. It doesn't matter as such why. We don't be there preaching about Jesus to them or anything like that, because obviously it's not quite the right time to do it when they might be under the influence of drinks or drugs or whatever. But it's just that little bit of a smiling face, giving out of love that can touch them. And as I said before, that because Jesus loved me and what he gave for me, by me just giving that little bit of effort, little bit of love to somebody else, that Jesus' love can touch them in their hearts then as well.
Living within your sacred heart, my refuge to the end of time. You are the peace within this world. You are love sublime.
So within the House of Prayer, once a month, usually on a Saturday, we would go to different towns in Northern Ireland and stand on the street, you know, from about 9 to 5, collecting for the poor. We call it the Forgotten Poor of the World collection. And so, you know, it can be raining, it can be snowing, it can be windy, and a lot of places, you know, you're generally not allowed to stand indoors. It's all like on the street usually. You know, that's the permission that we have to stand on the street. And then at Christmas time, Sonlight would be more involved in that from the musical end of it, and that we would sing carols, as you know, along with the street collection. So it's a kind of a buskin, you know, to raise more money for the Forgotten Poor. And then various groups write into us to, you know, looking for money, and like we don't collect hundreds and thousands every year, you know, it's a couple of hundred here and a couple of hundred there, but like £50 or £100 goes such a long way to some of these we parishes that write into us. And like we've had people writing in from India, from all the countries in Africa, and some of the money has gone to help, well obviously to feed them, and some of the, you know, there's orphans in the parishes that need clothing. And then also there was a parish where the church had been completely destroyed, and we were able to send a few pounds just to help them begin to build their church again, so that the parish had somewhere, that they had a place to worship as well. What we do in the House of Prayer, we're all volunteers. There's nobody taking any money for any of it, because as Stephen said, you know, Jesus gave his whole life for us, so that's why we want to do everything just for him, just for his glory. We're not taking any money or any wage for it. We'll have our treasure in heaven with the help of God.
Well, there are many ways to be the body of Christ, and the House of Prayer, there are a whole lot of different parts to the house, and we you know, within all those jobs, we feel like we want to, you know, reach out to Jesus' people, be his hands and his feet. One of the ways is through Sonlight, and Sonlight isn't for profit. You know, it's not a money making venture. We all have our own jobs and families, and what we feel like we're doing is giving of our time, giving of ourselves to Jesus, and in some way we hope to bring comfort or to bring love or joy to his children. You know, there are many times of funerals and different situations which can be difficult. We do hope to be, you know, Jesus' light or his comfort to his people. When we do fundraising events or anything that we would charge into, we always feel that it's important for us to pay in. You know, that's our way of giving the glory all to God. The glory is for Jesus. If people are touched, if they do feel that joy or the comfort, it's all about him. It's not about us. As I said, we only want to be his hands and his feet. Jesus is God, and we want the world to know that. We want them to know that he is there for them, and hopefully in some small way through Sonlight we do that.
So the first song of the second half, this is quite a rocky song, even though it's another original song written by Patrick. And it's all about how, I suppose, in these days, there's no God in the world. They don't promote God in the newspapers or talk about Jesus in the mainstream media, only to give out about the church or something like that. But this song is about believing in Jesus and staying close to him and staying committed to him, no matter what, that you'd follow him. And it's called Follow You.